Hello and welcome. We finally got there. Oh my God, the drama.
Drama, mate. And you thought you're inside your house there was the drama. There's drama everywhere. There's drama here, PC issues. The intro. I like the countdown.
It's just come on. I've never seen it before, so
It's
I thought I'd put it in.
It's alluring. It brought me in. I like it. Anyway, Lee, how are you, man?
Mate, I just think like I'm like everybody else at the moment in the country, really hot.
Mate. So a good technique, if you haven't already figured it out, is get yourself a tea towel, chuck it under the water, freezing cold, and then just chuck it on the back of your neck. Oh my God, it is a godsend. I can assure. I'm walking around like like a trainer from a Rocky film. Rocky, you gotta make sure that you jab him in the face, right in the tush. Something like that, but that's how I feel. But anyway.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about this week.
Lots and lots to talk about. Obviously, we had the 24-hour walk and talk on Saturday at Haywards Heath.
And you finally got to meet the people that I've been banging on about.
I did. And there's that on the board there. Jamie, man of the match, written on the old whiteboard there. We'll explain later if you're unaware as to what that actually means. Jamie, a member of the walk and talk community. I fell in love with the guy. Fantastic gentleman. Starkey, man, thank you for popping into the stream. How are you, man? Starkey is the legend that was there during it all as well. That's the same man. Brilliant guy.
He literally stayed up all night watching it, which just blew my mind.
He's a legend. That's why, man. He's an absolute legend.
Felt he's part of the team, if I'm honest.
That's it. Him and Dimmock, two very good, very close friends of mine from my community. So it's great that they've just seamlessly transitioned into the walk and talk community as well, very easily.
Definitely.
Really great.
So let's talk about Saturday.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
Wow. It just blew me away. But we start from the start. Friday night or Friday during the day, I was putting up flyers around Haywards Heath around here. And drumming up as much support and interest as possible. Obviously, we said it before with COVID-19 or
makes things difficult.
Makes things difficult for non-league clubs, And on the day, on the Saturday, I kept seeing people of high caliber that were tweeting out non-league clubs need your help. And obviously, we were doing what we were doing, but it fell kind of semi on deaf ears. But it's neither here nor there.
It's the first one, man. It's the first one.
Yeah.
It's always going to be tricky, man. It's always going to be tricky. The first one's always going to be tricky. But a lot of us. Obviously, I don't want to give too much, so we'll explain it from the beginning. But I think all of us got to the point where we're like, we need to do this for ourselves and for us as well. That's genuinely how I felt. I was just a little bit gutted, but as I said, we'll explain all of the grim details.
I'll let you have the stage, mate. So
no worries. So Saturday, Saturday, early Saturday morning, woke up about 6:30 and began the trip to Haywards Heath, which is kind of sort of in between London and down towards Brighton, which is where Lee resides. I brought PT with me. PT, the main man himself, Mr. Posh Tom. Really great guy. Obviously, if you saw the stream, he's an absolute legend. Can't stop talking about rugby and Formula One.
It makes me laugh. For a skinny guy, you'd expect a rugby player.
He
very skinny.
He played rugby to university level, so which is pretty freaking decent, to be honest with you. But yeah, he's completely skinny, but he's quite tall and quite quick and quite strong as well, considering he's like the figure of an ant. You can hide him behind a lamppost, is what I'm saying. But I picked him up about 7:30. We made our way down. We got ourselves some coffee and we pulled up and we realized, I think we got there about 9 o'clock. We wanted to be slightly early. We're quite prompt, unlike some. Shocking, I know.
It's tradition. It's tradition.
Yeah,
if I turn up early,
it would be weird if you turned up on time. Even John was having a little laugh about it as well when he turned up. John turned up. The gentleman that we spoke to last week about his round trip from Rotherham to London, 375 miles. He always liked to make sure you get that extra 5 in, because I said 370. He got very upset. So 375 miles from Rotherham to London, back again on a bicycle, and he didn't wear any suntan lotion on his hands. So his hands are so dark from sunburn that they look like he's wearing permanent gloves. It's quite funny. But anyway, so we turn up about 9 o'clock in the morning. Me and Tom are realizing it's going to be a warm day. It's going to be a very, very warm day. So we made sure that we did some of the walking very early on, to kind of so we didn't think we wouldn't have to walk too much during all the heat. But once you get into it, once you get into the mode of it, you just keep walking. Like we were walking around and we were like, right, we'll do 10. And then I made a joke, say, I'll do 14. How many FA Cups Arsenal have won, and making a joke out about that. And I was like, maybe I'll do 15, obviously rounding it up. And then I went, oh, maybe I'll do 20. And then I went, oh, well, whilst I'm here, I'll do 25. And it got to that point, it was like, Tom was like, oh, I'll do an extra 10 more and run 5 more. And then Deke, you can sort out the Twitch streaming, which I did on the fly. I logged into the Twitch and everything like that on the fly. Got to meet everybody as well. Everybody from like Sean, Camel,
who we've had on.
Yeah, we've had Sean on the pod before. I had a really great conversation with him.
What was it like meeting these people in the flesh? We'll leave Jamie out, but because to me, I think Jamie will have a special moment. He just keeps blowing me away.
It was great to have sort of names and faces connected, so you can kind of go, right, that's you. Like as I said, Sean, most recently. Obviously, I've spoken to Sean on pod, and we follow each other on Twitter. But we had a really great conversation. I think we did about 10 laps, and we were having a good old chin wag about everything, and it was great. And we were very open about it, and he was very open about the fact that he's very much, we're both hugely into politics, but completely opposites on the spectrum. I mean, complete opposites. But the conversations we were having, we were like, we actually agree on quite a few things. And he ended up saying,
a lovely guy.
He's an absolute fantastic guy. Really love him to pieces. And he goes, I remember having a chat with Lee. He goes, I messaged Lee going, I don't know if I can follow Deke on Twitter because he's quite political and it's not my bag and everything. But he ended up following me anyway, and everything like that. But as I said, we had a chat. And within those 10 laps, which we found out a lap was a quarter of a mile. So if you did 4 laps, that's basically a mile. I did roughly 20 miles, which isn't too much. But I'll get on to the later. I'll get on later as to why that happened, why it was only 20. But anyway,
can I ask you a serious question?
Go for it.
When you were walking around, obviously you got to the ground, which is behind us, which we stayed the whole night there. And
that's on that bench.
First blue post is. That's where we had our stream from.
That's it.
And what was your feeling? What was you feeling? What was Deke feeling? Was he excited, nervous, or what was Deke feeling knowing full well that he's got to spend 24 hours here walking around it and be part of a team that's going to achieve something?
Apprehensive was definitely something that was going through me. As you know, I suffer quite badly from chronic fatigue syndrome, which I've only realized over the last few weeks that I do have. I basically haven't slept a good night's sleep, and I mean 8 hours plus in 10 years, maybe more. I've not slept properly. I've got permanent bags under my eyes and stuff like that. It's part of my facial features now. I'm so used to it, but my chronic fatigue has actually gotten worse over the sort of 6 months during the lockdown. I think it's got even worse due to the stresses, and some of the symptoms are tightening of chest, which I have asthma anyway, so I find it quite difficult to breathe. The joke being the disease that's going right now is a respiratory disease. And when it gets really bad, I start getting like handshakes. Like it gets quite bad, and I can't function like a normal person. Sometimes my body just crashes. And I find it really, really difficult to be able to come to terms with some things. And I find it difficult as well if I go for a slump of getting out of it unless I have myself a nap. But unfortunately, naps right now are quite difficult because of how hot it is. And you can't nap in that sort of heat. It becomes really difficult. And what was great, it's eyeliner, exactly. What was great about it is, we were allowed to go inside the clubhouse, but unfortunately the seats that we were laying on were leather seats. So if you're hot and sweaty, you just stick to them and it's like Velcro. So I just felt really uncomfortable. I was like, I don't know if I can sleep. I'm like getting really stressed about it. But overall, obviously the apprehension due to the lack of sleep that I could have potentially had, which I did have anyway. But the passion that I had for the first, I think, sort of 8 hours plus, when my body was still, able to function to a certain degree, I was throwing myself into it big time.
Was you feeling other people's enthusiasm and so forth bouncing on you? Did you feel that? Because I always feel this. It's quite a weird feeling.
Yeah.
I'm quite quiet. I just go about it, bang, bang, do it. But I
That's
just feel
it. Like,
such adrenaline around people, and obviously you got everybody's different, which I love the fact that you got Sean, you got you can have a conversation about anything, talk about anything. There's no animosity, there's no drama, there's no screening or anything like that. It's just straight up, honest, good conversation. And do you know what? When you do have a good, honest conversation, you walk longer because you're so interested. You're like, wow, the conversation keeps flowing, so your legs keep going.
We was me and Tom did 25 laps to begin with. We kind of just sort of initiated it, and me and Tom were just catching up on everything. We were talking about everything and anything. It was great. It was just good to just being able to just chat. It was like we're in a pub but without the beers, which I'm fine with because of the heat and everything. I did quite well, actually. I didn't drink any alcohol that day. Normally I love drinking alcohol. Alcohol's like one of my vices, but I specifically made sure that I didn't touch any alcohol that day, apart from half a Corona, which I had with the slices of pizza, which is not really anything anyway, in my circumstances.
On that note, I've got to say a big thank you to Roy.
And 1,000,000%.
Haywards Heath, who absolutely just blew me
out. He owes me a Haywards Heath football shirt.
I saw it, don't worry. I saw it. But they were absolutely wonderful, and Byron
really
coming down. Yeah, the captain. I was going to try and get him on today, but they're training, so I didn't bother asking him. But
is that Byron?
He's a lovely guy.
Interviewed him obviously during the live stream. That was absolutely a great conversation. I needed a good steak. You're damn right. I had picanha steak yesterday. It was so good. I put pictures up in the Discord. I'll send Lee those pictures later. Picanha is a beautiful cut of meat, really marbled very, very well. Anyway, I digress. Haywards Heath were fantastic. Had a chat with Byron on the stream. Got to really know about the football club, who he was as a person. Youth trial at Southampton at 14 years old, and then sitting on the bench at Old Trafford against Manchester United for Crawley. Fantastic. And it's great to have a conversation with football players at all different levels of the game. The passion is always there. It's just they're playing at different levels. It doesn't mean that they haven't got the talent to specifically play at that level. It's just it hasn't really worked out, or the dominoes haven't fallen right into place. But he's a happy guy, and he's doing what every young lad in this country wants to do, and that's kick a ball around at any level, even if it's a Sunday league. But some of us don't have, whether it be fitness issues, or respiratory diseases like myself. You find it quite difficult to be able to, run and do upkeep like that. It becomes quite difficult. But it's great to see that he appreciates and he knows that he's got to where he is and he's very happy. And it was great. It was a great conversation with him.
No, he's a really good lad. I was walking around when you were talking to him, and I'd come over to me, fist pump me. Hello, mate, you're right. Carried on walking, and then I think you finished up after. Really come walking with me. We had a good old catch up. I hadn't seen him for 4 months, and obviously got down and watched the team play a few times over the year, over the season. It was nice to catch up with him. Really, I do miss it down there. It's such a unique club. It's such a really thoughtful club, and if you are in Haywards Heath watching this, you probably ain't. But if you are anywhere near the vicinity, please go watch him play. It really is a community club, and I can't stress that enough. And like I said to you just a minute ago, Roy was amazing, and he deserves mass credit for ordering pizzas and getting up early in the morning for himself, doing baker's sandwiches, giving us a beer, and it was just phenomenal. And to me,
super accommodating. Yeah,
that's what it's all about. It's everybody helping each other and doing the right thing. Which again just blew me away.
Exactly. It was a fantastic experience. So I had a chat with Byron, ended up doing a few more laps and everything like that. Ended up having a chat with pretty much everybody. As I said, we spoke to John, the guy who rode from Rotherham to London and back again on the bike.
He lives in Rotherham, by the way. I might add.
Yeah, so he made the trip all the way down from up from Rotherham down to Haywards Heath, which is an achievement within itself. To have to travel very, very early. Oh no, he travelled on the Friday, but he was not there. It's still a long distance, just to walk around a stadium. Obviously the whole idea of it meant that much to him to come down and do this on a Saturday during blistering heat, even though he did the round trip on the bicycle. Exactly. Loads of other people, Sean, Liam, Kevin, who I called Camel, because he had a backpack with a water bag in it, and he had the tube he was drinking from it. He was super. Yeah, I called him Camel. He was super efficient. He had head torches prepared. His other half brought Magnum ice creams, which I was just like, this is. I was like, I've reached Mecca. This is incredible. This Magnum ice cream is the most glorious thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
And also
Ed Loud as well, which he stands true to his name. Did a great job whilst I was walking, taking control of the live stream. I've got a real issue of. I'm very passionate when it comes to sort of talking and engaging with people. I'm a big people person. So when it comes to there's this opportunity to become the limelight, so to speak, I try and get involved 100%. Me and Tom, we were having a really good engagement, but we do that anyway. We filmed a couple of promo videos for a TV series that we're kind of doing with our company. It's called Mini Versus, where we race a classic Mini against public transport, a bit like Top Gear. We filmed. So our on-screen connection is pretty good anyway. So we've known each other for years. We filmed 2 promo videos for that, 2 episodes for that. So maybe I can show you that sometime, Lee. It's very funny. It's quite Top Gear style. It's quite funny indeed. I'm the public transport trying to get somewhere, and he's driving through a Mini, and it's filmed from both perspectives. It's quite funny. Anyway, so having a conversation with Tom on the camera was quite easy anyway, and it just took engagement and talking about everything and anything. And the conversations that I was overhearing, even walking around, were vast. I was hearing everything. Everything was being discussed. Let's not
go about me eating pizza. Let's not go down that road.
No. That's it. I think one of the most interesting conversations I had was with Kevin. I interviewed him. He was sort of sitting behind me, so I moved the webcam and I just impromptu just started asking him questions like, Kevin, let's get to know you. I don't really know you much. I want to really ask you sort of what you're about.
And he told me. Can I stop you there?
Yeah, sure.
His name's Kieran.
Kieran. Why am I saying Kevin? It's Camel. It's the Camel thing. I keep thinking of Camel. I'm like, Camel. Kieran. I keep calling him Kevin. Sorry, Kieran. I apologize, buddy. Anyway, so I was having a really good chat with him about sort of where he was from and his journey up till now. And he was sort of telling me about his time in America, meeting his wife before that, going and giving an opportunity over there to live over there, and then realizing it really wasn't his bag, and he was missing people, so he came back. And it got worse. He thought it wasn't going to get any better. So he got to a point where he was like, right, this is not good. And he was telling me about some of the therapy things that he went through. And one of them was actually that I connected to is from the film Clockwork Orange, where it's like a shock therapy to a certain extent, where they're basically inducing a brain seizure to kind of restart your brain. I was petrified. Yeah. I was petrified by this, like the scene of the Stanley Kubrick Clockwork Orange, which is an amazing film anyway, where he's got his eyelids forced open and they're shock therapying him. I was like, oh my God, that's insane. And he was like, well, at the end of the day, it worked. It did it. And I was like, well, it's great for you to come across and say that it was a successful piece of treatment, because I find that all very, very daunting, to say the least. So having a conversation with just Kieran about these topics and just sort of getting to know them on a deeper basis, as opposed to sort of just seeing them from afar, was a wonderful, wonderful treat.
To me, it's just I find that Liam, I've known Liam for years and years and years. Obviously, my boy was there, and just my boy to meet Liam, and Liam to start talking to my boy about me as a lad. Was quite interesting. But yeah, I love Liam, good guy. I just want to quickly pull out Starkey's comments here. Are you doing a walk like this again in another stadium, or is it just a one-off? I think there are plans for other events which will be released soon. Obviously, as I said, all depends with COVID. It's just,
no, of course. As I said to Lee after the event, I said to him, the next time we do it, I'm going to take it to the next level. I'm going to bring down my webcam with the bipod. I'm going to get it all set up with boom arms, with the microphones. I'm going to bring it all down with me and get it all set up to make it even more professional. I'm going to have an interviewing area, and basically I'll interview everybody as a fresh person and have topics of interest and have a load of dialogue and just really take it like I would do. Starkey knows very, very well. I've done 24-hour live streams before on Twitch. So doing a 24-hour live stream and talking to a camera, I can definitely do. Obviously, heat, it made it even more difficult, and the walking made it.
It was really uncomfortable. Really uncomfortable.
Yeah, the heat was really, really, really difficult. But
it was hard.
If we do it, when we do it again, not if we will, when we do it again is the key word, because obviously COVID and everything, the circumstances that way. When we do it again, I will be taking it to the next level, and I'm going to make sure that it is at the highest production quality that I can make it on the day.
I just want to pull up another comment by Starkey here. All these choice of songs to sing at the top of his voice. Let's not talk about that. Wait, there's nothing wrong with Martin McCutcheon.
Is that what you're singing? Oh God!
I will pass it. Edward, poor man. Ed's in the room now. Ed was like that. Ed was like
Martin McCutcheon.
I don't know what he's singing. It should be like some random.
It's called sleep deprivation and heat stroke.
Mate,
That's what that is. So Martin McCutcheon is the result of sleep deprivation and heat stroke. That's what happened.
Oh, if we were together, definitely, mate, definitely. Oh, it's a laugh, though.
That's fantastic. But yeah, it got towards the evening. My body started getting a little bit more. I become subdued. It's nothing personal. It's just my body, as I said, doesn't function properly because of my chronic fatigue. So I start getting quieter, and I start struggling a little bit more and more and more because my body's basically working on about 3 or 4 hours sleep every day and has done for 10 plus years. That's, my body's not recuperating. It's not regenerating. It's not getting back to normal. And everything like that, which is really, really frustrating. It sort of got towards the evening. Roy, once again, fantastic glove to him. He got us Domino's pizza. Other pizza places are available, of course, but he brought us that, and it was like amazing. It was some of the best.
Like a proper good, really, really good pickup at the time. I think we were.
Yeah, it was.
We had all been at it for.
It was about 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening. Pizza turns up out of the blue, which was absolutely crazy. And he got us some Coronas from the clubhouse, which was great. Some free beer. As I said, I only drank half a beer, as I didn't want to drink too much beer. But by that point, my body was pretty much crashing and burning. The annoying thing is, I found a football in the clubhouse, which I subsequently brought out, and it ended up being the demise of me because I was crashing and burning anyway, but I was still able to sort of function. People took it upon themselves to sort of, as they were walking around, playing the ball around as well, bringing the ball with them as they walk around and kicking it about, which is what we're all there for as well. We're all big lovers of the game, the beautiful game. I ended up tweaking my ankle kicking the ball, and I haven't kicked a ball in years. How many times do you find yourself at a park? This is I just don't have time for it really anymore, unless you've got kids. I don't have kids, so that's just not part and parcel of what my life is at the moment.
If there's any consolation, about 4 o'clock in the morning, I walked straight into a bin.
Brilliant.
I was talking to Liam, and I should wear glasses 24/7, but I refused point blank. And obviously with the dark, it just took me out, mate. I was bang. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah.
No, it is what it is.
So my ankle was really, really bad. It was coming up to sort of 10 o'clock ish, and I was like, I don't know, and I was getting frustrated with myself. I was texting the missus, and I was just like, I really want to continue, but my ankle's really sore now from tweaking it. And I was frustrated and annoyed with it, and I wanted to continue because I was loving what I was doing, absolutely loving. I was loving the environment that I was in, and but I just couldn't rest. I just felt, I don't know why. I didn't feel like I could lay down and rest, even though I tried to in the clubhouse. And it was hilarious as well, Lee, actually. The only time I vanished from the area to lay down for 15, 20 minutes, I come out, where have you been? Where you gone? Where did you go? I literally left the area once to go and lay down and rest my ankle. It's like, Deeks left us. What a bastard. I found that hilarious. Like, obviously, because I was such a loud character anyway, if I'm not around, you really notice it. It would,
mate. I think we should, I think Ed's first time. I think everybody's first time in meeting, apart from Sean. No, Sean's first time meeting Jamie.
Jamie.
Well, I think Ed could speak for Jamie. you could speak for Jamie. I've been saying
Tom,
this.
I'll tell you what, Tom can speak for Jamie, I think, more than most on that day anyway. There became a point where Tom was walking around and he ended up taking his top off because he was getting really hot and sweaty. So he was walking around topless. Jamie copied him and they ended up becoming walking buddies. Just two of them walking around topless together. They ended up getting to really know each other to the point where they're now friends on Facebook.
Yeah, do you know what? I like literally, I was with the boy's a machine. We will.
Mean machine.
Jamie's 17 years old. He's 18 in 2 weeks. Next week, he's 18 next week. So, Jamie, I want to wish you a happy birthday. I will phone you up on your birthday, pal.
That's amazing. Yeah,
I will phone you up on your birthday. I hope you have a wonderful time. But I just want to say, Jamie's 17. He has cerebral palsy, and I have never met a lad so determined, so the grit and determination of the lad, it just blows me away. We were walking at about 5 o'clock in the morning and I was talking to him and I was like, Jamie, how you feeling, pal? And he was like, I'm good. I want to go again. I'm going to get 200. I was like, my God, boy, mate. And he was just, mate, I've never seen just someone.
His mental strength is something that I was in awe of.
Do you know what? He's just a phenomenal character.
If a guy like Jamie can have a smile on his face during, you know, some really shit hands, you know,
we all have to take a lesson. You know, I
100%, 100%.
He's a bigger man than I'll ever be.
Easily, the more than most that I've ever met, including myself. I fell in love with his character. Absolutely fell in love with his character.
You don't know what to do.
Strong. Well, that's it. Like
you don't know what to do. Shake his hand, give him a hug.
It became a bit of a joke. It became a bit of a joke because just kind of like, you know, a few hours before I left, I sort of left around 10:30, 11 o'clock, and it became a bit of a running joke where I was like, Jamie, you're like the second highest lap walker out of all of us here. Like, this is getting ridiculous. And Tom's leaving by sort of 10:30, 11 as well. And he did 106 laps, which he worked out to be 26.5 miles, which is a marathon. He ran the last 7 laps, and then he told his missus that he ran a marathon. She was like, no, you didn't. You didn't. I'm catching you right out on this one. But I love Tom anyway. He's an amazing man. But Jamie was the pace setter. 100% the pace setter. It got to, as I said, it was getting to the point where I was like, he's surpassing me on my laps, and I wasn't embarrassed, but I was just like, I need to step it up. I need to step it up, man. This guy's mental strength is beyond something that I have seen in years. And and as I said, it just made me fall in love with his character.
And now, like Ed says here, when I was shivering and sweating with the sunstroke, he was still out there doing laps and ended up doing double what I did. You know, I was walking with him in the early hours. Me, Liam put in a big shift. I knew I was going to do the graveyard shift because everybody would get excited. I knew that fatigue would kick in. People would start like wanting to slow down a little bit. That's where bang, I'll jump in and do it for a couple of hours. It's fine. But you know, walking around with Jamie, I says to him, Jamie, he says, it's my birthday in 2 weeks. I'm 18. I was like, wow, mate. Yeah, mate, you got the head of about 50-year-old. You're unbelievably 100%. Strong. Mm-hmm. You're probably one of the most wise people I've ever met in my life. I says, what do you do for your birthday? He goes, I'm going to get shit-faced. With the straightest face on. And while he's walking around, he already done about 106 miles. He already done about a marathon. And he just literally looked at me with the straightest face. And he goes, I'm going to get shit-faced. And I just went, I didn't know what to do. Like, high-five him or just give him the biggest hug ever. And it just brings everybody all together, doesn't it? It's just, we bounce off each other and everybody's got something unique that they bring to the walk. And, you know, Jamie setting the pace and Jamie being Jamie, it's just, you just got to stand back and look at him and just admire and just be in awe of him. Because to me, I don't think I've ever met anybody. I'm quite a determined lad, and I didn't bother me. I was quite happy doing it all. And he just can't say enough good words about the lad, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I totally understand that, man. I totally understand that. But you're right. there's only so much you can kind of get from obviously social interactions, text messages and stuff, interactions via the podcast, but you don't get to really know someone until you meet them, have facial interactions with that person. So you can really get to know them deep down. And doing something like walk and talk, obviously, where you're some points where it's just the two of you and you're walking, and really getting to know that person, really getting to know how they got to where they are, and realizing, there are other people that are going through some really bad situations in the world. It's not just yourself. And that should be seen not as a negative, because there'll always be people, but as a positive, because you're not on your own.
Yeah, do you know what? To me, it's the longer walks where the more serious talks happen, because like I said to you, you got 24 hours with these people. Okay, whether you like it or not, you're going to get to know these people very, very well. Whether you like it or not, you're in a close proximity, you're walking, and then do you know what? You've got to like some people, you've got to dislike some people. That is life. Okay, simple as. There's no animosity there. There's no drama. You all talk, you all get on. And that's the way it is. But then what happens is you start talking about, like, oh, you're an Arsenal fan. I remember this player. I remember that player. And then, congratulations on the FA Cup win. Did you watch it? You start talking about this, but then as the day goes on,
it takes so many tangents. Yeah, you take tangents and you get into real in-depth conversations. As I said,
mate, the craziest conversations I've ever had in my life, and the most honest and true, have been at 3-4 o'clock in the morning with not with drink or drugs or anything like that. It's all been on the walk where I feel comfortable enough,
because it's coming from a positive place.
Yeah,
it's coming from a positive place for sure.
It's positivity. So you glad you've done it? Are you glad?
100%. I'm just frustrated that my body doesn't work like a normal body. So I get tired real quick, especially in the sunshine. I was burning the candle at both ends. I was exerting quite a lot of energy to begin with. I was quite hyper and everything, but I was enjoying myself. I was having a great time. I put a lot of energy on the camera for quite some time at the early doors. I don't do things half measure. So whenever I do live streams, you can ask Starkey how many all my live streams. I'm always really high energy. I'm always screaming and shouting. That's the reason why I'm in a shed right now, which is my man cave, because I get booted out into the back of the garden because the missus doesn't want to hear me shout and scream inside the house, and that's the reason why I'm here, because I'm so loud. But I burnt the candle at both ends, and I got that's the only downside for me of the entire event, is that I had to listen to my body and listen and know that I was struggling, and if I didn't go home at that point, it would have just progressively got worse, and then the trip going home on a Sunday driving back would have been really, really difficult for me. If I was taking the train down, the chances of me going back would have been pretty much zero, because I could have just slept on the train back. But I've got to physically be on the ball and be driving a car down some ridiculously tight, no light A roads that are narrow speed limit. It's crazy, absolutely insane. These A roads from Haywards Heath going onto the M23 and then getting onto the M25 back into London. They're ridiculous. So I had to really be on the ball, and I was really tired. So I thought it was a smart idea to go back with Tom, because Tom literally lives down the road from where I live. So it was quite easy in that sense. And, I think he deserved to drive home after his massive effort that he put in with the walking that he did in such a short span of time. He did 106 laps. And the joke is, obviously, Jamie was the only other person that kept up with him, to be honest with you. I think he was only like 20 odd laps behind.
I think, Jamie surpassed 200 in the end.
Yeah, in the end. But what I'm saying is, at that point, he was he was one closest to Tom who really put in a shift, because he knew that he wasn't going to be there the entire evening. He said he was going to leave about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He stayed till 10.
It's such a unique thing, don't you find?
He had no idea what he was walking into, but he ended up falling in love with everybody. Exactly, brilliant. But he fell in love with the idea. He fell in love with the project. He knows where I stand with all of this since the day I met him back in I've known him 4 years. So, this is late 2015, early 2016 when I met him. He knows where I stand. He knows what I believe in. He knows how strongly I believe in this whole idea of supporting men with the mental health and prevention of suicide for men as well. Massively strong believer in this, and he knows this. So it was great to just ask him to come along, and he didn't second guess it. He was like, yeah, that's cool, I'll come down, not a problem. But I didn't expect him to stay for as long as he did. So I feel like he fell in love with the project just as much as we are in love with the project, which was great. So we kind of just off the cuff brought a brand new person into the world of this place without really any effort, and he just found and fell in love with it on his own accord.
But this is the whole point. This is what the organisation is all about. It's about word of mouth, coming down, experiencing it for yourself. You know, I love to see Starkey come along. Whether you do,
well, yeah, he said here,
mile, 2 miles, it's totally irrelevant. Come down, and I guarantee you, like I said, the longer it goes on, the more in depth you go with your emotions. And do you know what? You'd be surprised that the amount of people that are going through the same, well, not the same, but have mass sympathy for you, or going kind of the same avenue as you, and going through that stuff. It's alarming. You'll be surprised. I just want to quickly say, I was just going to
point out quickly, just before you say that, though, on the grass to Starkey, I know you're going to mention the Ed thing, but the Starkey situation you just said here. So a couple of years ago, I did a dryland meetup, which is my community called the Drylanders. It's a Waterworld reference. It's a great film. It was made before its time. It's great. Anyway, Drylanders. I did a meetup with a load of them. I got to meet some members from my community, and as I said, I've become real best friends with a lot of them. And I'm planning on doing another dryland meetup at some point after the corona kind of calms down. So he's saying if I can kind of sync up the new dryland meet with a walk and talk meet, and the two worlds combine, if we can try and facilitate something like that, that's definitely on the cards, Starkey. Because obviously I already want to do a dryland meetup anyway and get everybody down. You know, Blame,
and the more people that talk,
Chuck,
the better.
Bias, Starkey, all of you guys, Nolan, Reg, Seren. I'll try and get as many of the drylanders down as possible, because I know a lot of them are massive believers in, and we'll bring PT as well. He can join, but we can try and get something going. 100%.
No, it's the more people that come, the better. Really, let's be fair. You know, it does change a lot of people's aspect. We believe in movement. Obviously, with the government talking about being healthy and so forth. Obviously, walking is probably one of the most healthiest things you can ever do. And obviously, it loses weight, gives good positivity. You start talking to people. You end up really becoming really good friends with people that you would never have met in any walk of life before. But
that's it.
On that note, I really want to say good luck to Ed tomorrow, who's scattering Grandad's ashes. Obviously, if you go back in the episodes, we do talk about Grandad a lot. And Ed, again, I think the two people on the walks that have always stuck out for me are Jamie and Ed. You know, Ed's had a different life to me, and most lads I know, looking after his granddad most of his teenage years, and then up to now, he's in his 30s. His granddad sadly passed away, but we were all there as a Walk and Talk organisation. We all helped him and mucked in the best we could and be there for him the best we could. You know, we always remember Grandad. It's so much so that I have my bag, and my bag has Grandad's memorial service on it, and every walk I do, he always comes with me. So it's quite poignant. But good luck to that tomorrow, Ed.
Let us know, Ed, where you're scouring them. That'd be quite interesting to know where you're scouring. I'm sure you've obviously had a lot of thought as to where you'll be doing it, and obviously somewhere it means a lot to yourself and Grandad and the family. So quite interesting the background as to what, you know, where and why. That'd be quite cool to know. Quite cool to know. Just as part of the Grandad journey, you know, overall, it's quite cool to know.
A really nice guy.
Yeah. I met him. I met him really briefly outside of St. Paul's off the steps. Just before I left on the Palace to Arsenal walk. I met him very, very briefly. First time I met Ed as well. Obviously, first time I met you, Lee, turning up late. But overall, the walk was fantastic. Obviously, as I said, I had to leave slightly early. But I was, you know, I want to do another one, 100%. And I'm going to be more prepared. There's only so much you think you know about doing something like this, like doing a 24-hour live stream on Twitch. I've done a handful of them, and you kind of get into the groove and you kind of know how to do it. But this was a complete alien, foreign land for me. I had no idea how to sort of really take it. But now I've got a really good understanding, and that's the reason why.
Do you know what? A lot of people say to me, "Oh, I could walk. I'll walk anywhere. I could do it forever and a day." And I go, "It's exactly what I do." I laugh. I go, "Come on, then. Let's do this." You know, it gets to like let's not joke around. You know, you're walking at 10 o'clock in the morning. You know, you're walking all the way till 10 at night. It's 12 hours of walking. You know, it's harsh. It's constant, repetitive, bashing against your knee, bashing against your heels, and like there's a little bit that incline. And behind the goal, it's just like, oh, man,
why was there a slight hill?
And why is that there again? You know, and I was
walking past the training
with it.
pitch. You can kind of see it here, just underneath Lee's face. You see the Land Rover there. When you go around on the left, it's got a slight incline as you go up to the other side, opposite the stand. And every time I went up there, I was just like, why? Why is there an incline here? Why is this a thing? This is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So yeah. You have no idea. It's a whole new world to kind of put. And the fact is, obviously, the weather isn't normal at the moment. We are in some real heat. I'm hearing that a storm will hit London tonight. I'm hoping and cool everything down.
I saw a lot of stuff in Richmond and so forth on social media of it, just like hailstones and everything. But I'm not being funny,
making its way over. It's obviously making its way over across London. So hopefully that will sort of cool everything down. I hope obviously everybody stays safe because it is kind of like a hurricane to a certain extent. You know, it is a hurricane to a certain extent. So just make sure that you're staying safe and everything like that, and hope everything goes well. But a positive note, you know, it will give some of the grass in the local parks a good watering because
give me a good night's sleep.
Bloody hell. Yeah, and obviously it will cool everything down because sleep is quite difficult for me anyway. But sleeping in this heat, for the last 2 nights I've slept because no matter what you do, even if it's boiling hot, you have to sleep with at least like I don't know the edge of the quilt on you, whether it would be on your leg or on your ass. Or you know, you need to have just a bit of quilt because it's like, I don't know why, but it's like a thing. You need to, even if it's like sweltering, you need to have a little bit of quilt just to kind of realize that you're in bed. But the last 2 nights,
I have a pillow, that's it. I don't care.
See, that's a lot of people. A lot of people need a little bit of quilt. But the last 2 nights, I've slept with the quilt kind of like as a cushion up against the wall, sort of thing. I'm just like, nah, go away from me. You need to stay away. Stay well away from me. Ed looks like he's doing the ashes at local cemetery with his wife. Oh, granddad's wife. Amazing.
That's mate. I'm gonna give you a call tomorrow evening and have a good catch up. So please send my love to your mum, dads, and everybody. Your brother, David's down there tomorrow. I really do hope everything goes well. We don't have a storm. Maybe it's really bright skies.
I'm hoping it's bright for that moment. Yeah, of course.
For Granddad, but as Ed says, you know, it changed his life. As you're saying here in the comments, it changed his life, and to me, that's the biggest amount of respect that I would ever have in my life. You know, to me, I take that on board, and it does choke me up if I'm honest, mate. What started off as one person trying to take his own life to trying to open up the conversation, and when you hear stories like messages like that, it really does hit home. And you know, when I do see it, they always give him a hug. I mean, I love him. He might be an Arsenal fan, but again, our paths would never have crossed. Our paths would never have crossed had it not been for this. And to me, it's just so poignant. You keep these people that are close to you that mean a lot to you. You know. We don't talk for a couple of days, but then we'll be on the phone and we won't get off for 6-7 hours. It's like we're two old women talking on the phone. I do have a lot of respect for him, but like I said, mate, their messages mean the world to me. I do believe that it is going in the right direction, and hopefully we can do bigger and better things and a little bit more longer, should we say? I want to do 48-hour, the next one, but like I said to you on the day, I want to stress the importance of friendship, togetherness, understanding that we can achieve so much together. We're all in this together. 2 people set off, do 10 miles. Another 2, 10 miles. You know, we're all in this together. Not one person has done da-da-da-da, not one person's done da-da-da. Collectively, we've done 281 miles. that to me is just phenomenal. Around the stadium, 1,100 and something laps around the stadium. That's just unbelievable. Ed was snoring, John was snoring in the clubhouse, Billy was snoring in the clubhouse. Oh, I was just like, what the hell is going on? There's me, Liam, Sean, and Jamie just walking around in the middle of the night. It was lovely. It was. I could have done it with better people, if I'm honest. There's a few more people I'd like to have added to it, but that's the way it is. Just for the camaraderie, just to everybody to meet each other, and I think that come across really well. I thought everybody got on with each other. It is just one big family, and that's what I want to achieve.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
it. No, sorry. I didn't, yeah. No, it cut out. It cut out briefly there. But yeah, no, you're completely right. You're completely right. As I said, I absolutely loved the entire event. Yeah, Saki, 100%. I want to try and sort something out. We want to try and sort something out. But as I said, I want to take it to the next level on the live streaming part. I want to really put some effort into it, and really make it like a thing, like the interviewing pod. Kind of thing, and just really drum that home and put some entertainment on.
I think what Ed said here, I think that's quite poignant. You know, it reiterates what you said earlier regarding it's all good knowing someone on social media, but when you actually see them face to face, there's a whole different ball game.
Exactly.
It's a whole. You got body language to contend with. You've got the way the person delivers stuff. You know, that everything about them is so different. You know, you build up this mental picture of someone, how they stand, how their stance is, how they talk, you know, and it's never that person. So to me, it's quite poignant that we all meet up and all get on and just all be there for each other. You know, it's the greatest thing you ever have is empathy. So
exactly,
you know,
exactly.
Right, so text. Mate, this is so true. Snoring, my eyes were open, and he was so blind he missed me. So I texted him, mate, that's true. I walked in there, and I was like, right, they're all asleep. Gits. I walked out. John's like this. John's right. Anyway, so and then he goes, oh, I see you just now. I was like, oh, did you? Thought you was asleep. But no, it's all good. It's all good, you know. That's what it's all about. But yes, Starkey, definitely, I am on that. I'm on it. Don't worry. I will be putting that out in the next couple of days. I don't know when it's released, the fantasy football thing.
It'll be imminent, I'm sure.
Yeah, because
it'll probably if anything, it'll probably kick off the moment the Champions League's done. But then there's not much time until the league's back. Really, because the Community Shield is on the 29th. Community Shield's at the end of the month. That's no time at all. So I'm sure it'll kick up quite soon in the next week or so.
But when the Premier League fixtures out, because Fulham's in there now, so I don't know if you know.
I'm aware. I heard some rumours on the grapevine that was a thing. But yeah, I'm sure once the Premier League fixtures have come out, then I'm sure we'll see some stuff. But yeah, Starkey, we'll get that sorted, and hopefully I can continue it more than just a month. I always do a month's worth, and then I just leave it to run its course. I do that all the time. I always forget about it. I always just forget to do it and set my captain and swap the players in and out. I always forget. I always forget. But hopefully we can get it sorted.
It is what it is. But no, I really enjoyed Saturday. Apart from the heat, which was very, very uncomfortable, I think everybody really, really pushed themselves to a limit, and everybody not only physically but mentally as well, because they were talking to people they've never met before, and that's quite difficult in today's society. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
The people trying to talk to strangers, but everybody had a rapport with everybody. We were all coming from the same angle, so it as a looking out upon it and seeing you walking with Jamie or Sean or PT walking with Ed and so forth, or Ed walking with Liam, and it was just amazing just to see that this is what's brought people together, mate. It just blows my mind. I can't stress that enough. And obviously, the more people we get, the more conversations we have, the more miles we do, the more laughter we have, and the more friendships we make. And that's the point of everything.
Exactly. Very much looking forward to all of that. Very much looking forward to all of that. Hopefully we can get it sorted.
So next week, hopefully we've got an ex-football player on. I'm not too sure yet. I'm working so hard at the moment. I split my finger again, but there you go. But yes, I will sort that out tomorrow. I'll sort it out tomorrow, so I'll tell you tomorrow, and then it'll probably be on the website on the weekend if we get him. If not, just visit the website anyway, please.
Yep, exactly.
Big pleasure seeing you after 4 months as well, mate. After 4 months,
it was a long time. It was a long time. Oh, there's a virus going around. I don't know, but yeah, it's kind of in the way. But yeah, it was great. It was great to see everyone. So hopefully we can do it again, and not too long into the future. Hopefully we can get it sorted as soon as possible. We can get back out there and be more prepared for the journey.
Definitely. So I'm just going to leave you with Ed. Please send in love to your pal
100%.
tomorrow. Thinking of you. We'll phone you tomorrow. Think of your family. Think of the babe, and say goodbye to Gwenna from all of us, please. And everybody else, till next week, we will try to get back at our 8 o'clock schedule. I was out for a meal. Deacon's camera and Mike, we was baffled. It was just it was funny.
I reset my BIOS and it got pissy.
It was funny, but we will be back at 8 o'clock next Wednesday. So please tune in. Look at the socials. Is that the word they use these days? Socials?
Look at the socials. Check the socials out, and you've got all the information there.
Till next Wednesday, people. Be good.